It is, of course, by no means essential to be a hound dog. A rock and roll guitarist can be turned out in 12 hours flat. The classical player must devote at least 12 solid years to patient study. You pays your money and you takes your pick.
In 1959, John Williams was one of the finest young players of a classical guitar, riding the crest of a wave of interest in the instrument.
The classical guitar is a wonder. Of course, you don't have anything like the number of notes or the means to play them that you have on the harpsichord or the piano. You don't have the sustain of stringed instruments with the bow. But the uniqueness of the guitar is that it combines little elements of all that. It is a fantastic instrument.
Today, after a lifetime playing, he's more ready than ever to look back to the instrument's humble beginnings.
The guitar, back in the 14th, 15th century, was originally a popular instrument with 4 strings. It was used for strumming and accompanying dances, popular dances, country dances, and songs. It didn't have what we call the polyphonic technique of playing with the fingers like this, where you could play, you know, Bach fugues. With different voices, arpeggios. You see the right hand. The old guitar, the original popular guitar, didn't have that. It was used for strumming. Single notes were played exactly like with a pick. Like that. And strumming, or even playing. Everything was strummed. That's the origins of the guitar.
But though the guitar has evolved over the centuries, there's no one clear thread of development, and there are plenty of evolutionary dead ends. You can find this strange creature called a gittern in Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. It makes an appearance in the Miller's Tale of young Absalom wooing the carpenter's wife Alison, as told to the assembled pilgrims, including, of course, the publican, one Harry Bailey. No relation.
And he tries to sort of seduce this lady with this instrument.
Called the gittern.
Yes, a gittern.
Gittern, yes.
Is that what it's...
Yes.
The cittern or the gittern?
Well, there's the cittern and there's the gittern.
Right. And the bittern, of course.
And the bittern, yes.
Which is as a
and as well as
bird.
could he play on a gittern. In all the tune has brewhouse ne tavern.
Yes.
That he ne visited with his solas, that any Gaylard tapister was. Would you know what a Gaylard tapister is?
A Gaylard. Would that be sort of a kind of a barmaid, would it?
Correct, yes. That is right. A lively barmaid.
Oh, right, a saucy barmaid.
A saucy barmaid,
A
yes.
70s sitcom barmaid.
Well, this is sort of more like the 14th century.
1470s,
yes, sort of,
yeah.
1470s. So far as I know, he went to the barber's to get a cittern.
Oh, didn't they used to sort of have them around just kind of for general usage? Like you could pick one up and strum them while you were getting a haircut or something. They were like sort of like the equivalent of magazines in the dental waiting room.
Absolutely. And by Shakespeare's day, cittern head was a well-known term of abuse, and the cittern itself a feature of any self-respecting barbershop. Because by now the association of the instrument and the female body was pretty well established, and the cittern was available for every man to play upon, it soon became synonymous with, shall we say, women of easy virtue.
Loose women were referred to as gitterns.
All right, or what would be slatterns? Or
Slatterns and gitterns.
Slatterns, all right.
She is but a gittern. Any man may play upon her.
You see, that's harsh.
It is quite interesting, isn't it, that the guitar as the body of a woman. I mean, your one is...
It's a strange-looking woman. Yeah, there you are. You see? There's a slight suggestion of promiscuity.
To see the cittern in action, I'd been given an address in Plumstead, deep into the Thames Delta, the home of someone called Michael Tyack.
Hello?
Hello.
Ah,
hello.
You are Michael.
That's right.
I'm Alan.
Hello, Alan.
I've come to see your cittern.
All right, please, do come in. Careful with the bongos. Down here. please.
Tyak is founder of the medieval folk band Circulus.
I said mind the bongo.
I did mind the bongo.
He contrives to live in the world today as if it's both 1972 and 1272.
This is Kate.
Hello, Kate. Who's Kate?
Kate is... Are you my girlfriend, Kate?
Yes.
Yes.
She is your girlfriend.
Yeah.
He also has a weird and wonderful collection of instruments. He showed me the Turkish saz, the lute, the Spanish vihuela, and here at last was the elusive cittern.
There we are. And it's all been carved out of one piece of wood, a bit like a canoe, which makes the sound resonate a little more thoroughly.
Really? Is that out of one piece of wood?
And then a soundboard is added, and the rose.
And this cittern, is this related to the gittern?
That's right. The gittern is a gut-strung instrument that was popular in the Middle Ages, and this kind of wire-strung cittern was very popular in the Elizabethan period.
There's a lot of sound comes out of that little instrument, isn't it?
It carries very well, yes, especially outdoors. There's like the lute doesn't carry at all outdoors, and so the cittern's kind of ideal for being a wandering minstrel.
If you want to find a wandering minstrel outside the Thames Delta, you can, in Spain. These roving bands of musicians playing stringed instruments are called tunas. It may look like a stunt for tourists, but as their 12th century costumes suggest, they have a direct link to the tradition of the medieval troubadours, men who live by their wits and their music, and they take the night's business very seriously. That business is, of course, seduction. Scenes like this are at the heart of the guitar's story. The serenade runs deep in the instrument's DNA, no matter where you are.
There's a stream beside the cabin in the valley of my dreams, and there's love light shining round the cabin door.
Don't come up here.
A summer's day, an English park.
As an instrument of seduction, the guitar has traveled the world.
This is Miss Dundas, a great-granddaughter of Lord Napier, educated at Cheltenham Ladies' College.
The first girlfriend I wasn't really interested at all in my guitar playing or anything like that. She just thought it was all a bit embarrassing and didn't really... But the girlfriend I'm with now, yeah, she's Italian and she loves a little serenade, I must admit, to the point where I'm embarrassed to do it, but she keeps asking me to sing her songs and play stuff to her, and I'm kind of like, oh God, it's a bit cheesy, isn't it? You know what I mean? But, you know, she's Italian, you know, so it's kind of, they kind of love all that, you know, so I'm kind of finding myself, you know, singing songs at home more often, and it's very good at the end of a big fight, you know, to sort of just come with the guitar and play a little track.
My love for you will still carry on. We're going on a picnic, it's a beautiful day. We'll look for a place where the sun meets the shade. We're going on a picnic, oh what a great day, to dance with the scarecrow and pull out his mane.
Have I used the guitar to get laid?
Yeah.
Not directly. I never stood outside a woman's window with my guitar and serenaded them in the hopes of getting lucky. But certainly there's an aspect, that's what brings you to the instrument, because there's something glorious about someone playing it.
But I hadn't just come to Cordoba for the serenades. Back in the 9th century, this was the capital of the Spanish territory, conquered by the Moors from the Middle East and North Africa, who brought with them that distinguished ancestor of the guitar, so familiar from my own childhood, the oud. Legend has it that Abu Hazza ibn Nafi, better known as Ziryab, fled Baghdad and settled here in 822. He's credited with adding a 5th bass string to the oud and setting up the first music conservatory in the world. The Moors were driven from Spain in 1492, but they left behind a glorious legacy of this golden age. Though their architecture remains, their musical influence spread far and wide. In particular, the oud's cousin, the lute, went on to become the instrument of choice in the royal courts of medieval and Renaissance Europe. Henry VIII owned 26 of them, and his daughter Elizabeth also played. And when it was good, it was very, very good. According to some scholars, its music was a bridge between the material and celestial worlds, as far away from the street instrument, the guitar, as you could get. But its days were numbered. Because of its many gut strings, it was expensive to maintain and notoriously difficult to tune.
You can lose your mind trying to tune a lute. I'm sure it drove a lot of people around the bend, and you could spend as much time tuning it as you did playing it. It's a tricky instrument because you have to have total silence when you play it to people, really, and there's so little total silence around nowadays.
And here's the hero in our story. The man who did more than any other to end the lute's dominance of courtly music, Charles II. When the king returned from exile in Europe, he brought his guitar with him across the Channel. And the man responsible for transporting it from Dover to London was none other than the diarist Samuel Pepys, a lute man himself, who found it a most frustrating task.
8th of June, 1660. Out early. Took horses at Deal. I troubled much with the king's guitar, and Fairbrother, the rogue that I entrusted with the carrying of it on foot, whom I thought I had lost.
The instrument in question was what we call a baroque guitar. It had 5 pairs of strings and was often exquisitely detailed. Pepys, however, was not impressed. Even when he heard the king